This is going to be another solo play of Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be playing I always say this one wrong, I'm sure, the Panuk Clan. I also determined randomly what solos we were going to do, which is going to be Kingdom at War. Furious barbarians from a distant empire are invading surrounding lands, and our people are startled. We cannot live in fear. Let's show them this is no place for them. Form your troops and lead your clan's empire to victory. You'll probably hear some background noise as we are doing this in the shop while it's open. One, to test the mic, see how good the mic actually picks up, just me. And then two, makes it hard to wait until there's quiet time to film. All right, so like I said, we're doing the Panuk Clan. These are the Panuk Clan's pieces, their boats, and their victory point marker. I already randomized the actions for the action pawns, laid them out on here. The Panuk Clan starts with Ice Quarry, a salmon pond, and a Yeti forest. All right, we get these starting resources. I know I'm doing the setup out of order. So first we're going to look at the nearby islands. The nearby islands that'll be out and available. Shipwreck Shore. If I get that one, I could spend a person to gain wood. Might be interesting to pick up. The Caribbean. As an action, I can spend any 2 resources to populate. We got the observation post. During the lookout phase, draw 5 cards instead of 4. Dodo Paradise. All it is a ability bonus. You get to choose 1 card type, gain a victory point for each card of that type in your empire. Max of 5. Forgot to get the last of my resources. Let's go ahead and finish that up. 2 more fish. And a stone. These are little fish that I just 3D printed up. That should be most of the regular setup. The only setup left to do is from the Kingdom at War thing. It says I get to search through my deck for a card that provides an axe or a raid token and a card that provides a victory point and add them to my empire. And then gain the bonuses if I built them. I already went through the deck, and these are the ones, since I saw that was a setup, that way I could already have the deck shuffled and ready to go. These are the ones I chose out. The Ice Armory, so that'll get to go straight into play. It lets me turn a stone into a raid token or a victory point. And an ice ship, which I ran into during game 2, getting to use it with the faction I was using. That lets me spend a person and a fish to sell and gain a victory point. So like I said, I get to start with these out and play. Seems pretty cool. So some other rules for Kingdom at War. Some rules changes are going to happen. An invasion, we will be taking a raid token from the general supply and if possible place on an action location in your empire. Each location can only have 1 on it. Any location with a raid token on it is called invaded. To use an invaded location, you must spend an extra person and or gold first. Scoring changes. Each pair of people and leftover raid tokens in my empire is worth 2 gold or 2 victory points at the end of the game. All people in my empire, including spit and assign, but only raid in my supply. So we'll have to look at that. There'll be some extra way to pick up some points. And then as this feature is always active, to use an invaded location, I can spend a raid token instead of the person and the gold to gain 2 victory. The victory threshold is 35, and then we'll hit these random events. And if you have, is this your first solo play from me to watch, you'll know I use a D10. Using 1, 2 is 1 and 9, 10 is 5, and I roll this instead of doing the random pull. These are things you normally use for the randomizers. I just like to use them as the round marker instead of putting it on a thing, and I just put it here. I use this as my victory point thing to know what my goal is since the threshold's 35. All right, sorry about that if you saw any changes happen on here. I was confused for a while, and I think with some help, I think I might have figured this out because I couldn't find it online. I couldn't figure out when this invasion thing actually takes place, but I think it's because someone else noticed and showed me all these say invasion on them. And they say additionally. So I believe during the lookout phase, when you roll the dice, you're going to do this, and then you're going to get this other little thing after you get your cards, which makes sense to me. I was just looking for a timing thing. I couldn't find anything online. I think that's to me, that's what makes the most sense, since these say additionally. All right, speaking of which, we get to draw 5 cards, and then we keep 3 of them. I drew Nearby Fields, which is an action that lets me spend a person and a fish to harvest and additionally gain a gold. Foundations. I can discard a card from my empire to draw a card. If it is a location, I may immediately build it. Strawberry Vendor. As an action, I can spend a fish to gain a gold or a stone. Solid Ice Constructions. As a feature, each time I must spend wood to build, I may instead use stone to gain a victory point. And a boost with Populate. As an instant, I can search my deck for one of the Igloo cards, take it into my hand, and shuffle the deck. Realized I forgot to gain my 5 workers. Alright, I think I'm going to discard Foundations. I really don't want to. I like the idea of being able to build for free, but there's another one in the deck. Maybe I'll hit it. I think these others are stronger. So I'm getting rid of Foundations and Lone Explorer, and keeping the Nearby Fields, the Strawberry Vendor, and the Solid Ice Constructions. Now we move into the actual lookout phase, where I'm going to draw 4 cards, and I get to keep 3. Well, each one I want to keep. I just got to pay a person. So I bet wrong. I should have got rid of the other one. I would have drawn my other Nearby Fields. Border Village. As an action, I can spend a wood to gain a victory point. As a builder bonus, I gain 1 victory point for each of that symbol in my empire. Reindeer Raiders. It's a feature that each time I use one of the Yeti buildings, I may spend 1 person to change or to and. And Frozen Mammoth, which is an upgrade to make my Ice Quarry better. I am going to keep these 3 cards. I'm going to get rid of the Border Village. Since I'm keeping these 3 cards, that means I have to spend 3 workers. All right, let's do the first lookout phase, or the first event. 2. So I believe, like I said, we have to do the rules change first. Invasion, I have to take 1 raid token from the general supply, and if possible, place it on an action location in my empire. I'm going to put it on the ice ship. All right, so since I did that, now that makes that, if I want to use it, it's like I have to spend an extra person and or gold to do it. But now I got to do the actual thing, which is we can't allow it because I rolled a 2. So additionally, I gain 2 people for this current round, but I lose them at the end of the round. So I get 2 more people. And yes, since I do forget things, we will go ahead and put these 2 guys on the spent workers so that I remember to get rid of 2 workers later. In fact, we'll just go ahead and put those on like that. All right. Since I want to weigh my options, I'm going to go ahead and explore. That way I can plan out a little bit better. Because I explored, I get to boost it with the Frozen Mammoth, making my Ice Quarry better. And the card I drew for my Explore action was Green Igloo. I'm going to build Reindeer Raiders, which takes me a stone. For this feature, I'm just going to put it up here since this is a permanent feature. So each time I use this or any other Yeti buildings, I may spend 1 extra person to change or to and. I'm going to build Strawberry Vendors. Takes me a person and a wood.
What is that? I've died so many times. I honestly don't want to play with him. That fucking card's so stupid. It got to the point where I just don't want to play with him again.
I'm going to spend a fish. And then because of Reindeer Raiders, I'm also going to spend a person to use this action. So I will gain a gold and a stone.
I've always been so on the fence about that Chandra. I think she was great in standard, but I think she's a little slow. And the board wipe's good. Like the 9 elementals, that's good for a good board wipe, but getting percent sand there.
I'm gonna set up for later game. I'm gonna build solid ice constructions.
I always have excuses for
Or option. I think you always have pretty good. You were very greedy on the cards you want to keep, but that's okay because you're playing cards.
My favorite thing about this deck is that I reset.
I'm gonna go ahead and build the nearby fields.
No, because it's a black order.
Done.
I'm gonna use this as if it's a stone, so that I gain the victory point. I'm gonna spin the person and the fish to use the nearby fields to harvest. In addition to gain a gold, I'm gonna gain the gold so I don't forget. And now I get the harvest. I'm gonna choose a salmon pond to harvest, so I get 2 fish. I'm gonna use this gold like it's food to move this to populate. I'm gonna boost to populate and build the green igloo for free. There's my populate. I'm gonna build that second nearby fields. I'm only gonna use wood and not try to do the stone, even though I would kind of like the victory point. So there's the wood, get my other nearby fields. Gonna spend a dude and a fish to harvest and gain a gold from the nearby fields. There's my gold so I don't forget. I'm gonna choose the green igloo so I get 2 food. I'm gonna move this there for my action. I'm gonna harvest the ice quarry so I get 2 stones since it's upgraded. Really want to gain fish, but I can do that in the future. I'm going to use a food to exhaust that over there, to populate, which will gain me another person. I'm going to activate the ice armory, and it is a Yeti thing, so if I spend an extra person, I can change this word or to and. So I am going to spend a stone and a person. Oh. To activate that ice armory, which is going to give me a raid token and a victory point. And then because this has one on here, that means if I do it, I have to spend a gold or a person to do it. But I will go ahead and spend a person, spend a fish, and there's my gold because it was invaded. And I am going to conquer, and I gain a victory point. And I think with that, we are done. So we're going to go to the exploration phase. I have to choose a nearby because I didn't put a fish on this. And I think we're going to do the shipwreck shore. So this goes away. And we gain that shipwreck shore. All right, we move the cleanup. First off, we get all of our workers. So these all scoop off, except these 2 go back to the thing because they were just temporary from the event. We unexhaust all of our cards. Get my action pawns back. These go bye-bye. And go ahead and draw our other islands. We got occult grounds. So in action, I can spend a person to gain 1 gold. Drunken Octopus Island, spend a person to gain a food. New island, spend a sheep to populate. And Turtleback, spend a fish to explore. All right, we go to round 2. We go to the lookout phase. I drew reading the future. As an action, I can spend food to move my clan action pawn or gain victory point. Snow Festival. When I explore, I can do that for free. I can choose up to three buildings of a different type in my empire and unexhaust them. Point Man Squad. As an action, I can spend a person and a fish to explore. And Foundations. That's the one I wanted to draw. Cool. Nice. I was hoping to hit that second one, but I mean, I'm almost halfway through the deck, so it should have hit it. So I'm going to discard these two. I'm only going to keep one, or I'm only going to keep two, which this is my whole hand. I already played out my whole hand last turn, so I have to spend 2 workers since I kept 2 cards. And now we move on to the event, which is number 7. So the first thing we have to do before the event is we have to put a raid token on one of my buildings, which makes it got invaded. I forgot to flip over the populate. In solo mode, you have to flip it over. It makes it more expensive for you to use the action. We're going to put it on one of my nearby fields. Say one of my nearby fields got invaded. And then number 7, which would actually be number 4, is morale is down. Additionally, I have to spend 2 of my workers. Well, it's not cool. I'm going to go ahead and build the foundations, which takes the wood instead of the stone. I'm going to use stone instead of the wood so that I gain the additional victory point because of my solid ice construction. And I'm going to go ahead and use it, which lets me discard a card from my empire to draw a card. And if it's a location, I may immediately build it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Since I am tapping this, we're going to go ahead and start making our exhausted pile over here. So I draw a card. It is a building, so I get to build it for free due to the foundations. It is a feature that each time I use a symbol of that, I may move my ship up 1 space on the expedition board queue or look at the top card from an island deck. So really one I'm probably not going to use, but I do get the building bonus of an axe. Building bonus, I gain an axe. I'm going to go ahead and harvest with my salmon pond to get 2 fish. And then I'm going to use my nearby fields that hasn't been invaded, which is spend a person, spend a fish, to harvest and additionally gain a gold. So I'm going to gain my gold so I don't forget. I'm going to choose my green igloo and get the 2 food. I'm going to spend 1 of the food to move the action pawn to construct so I construct the read in the future for free so I don't have to use up a person. I just realized I did not gain this when I conquered. I should have a fish and a gold. Might have changed my options if I would have known that was available, but I'm going to use my strawberry vendor. So I'm going to spend 1 fish. And because it is, I can use my reindeer raiders and spend a person too to get to do both. So there's my fish and my person to let me gain a gold. And actually, I'm going to save the person. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to need those people since my morale was low. I'm just going to do 1 of it, just gain the gold. Turn a fish into a gold seems good. I'm going to go ahead and activate my secondary, the invaded nearby fields. So I have to spend a person. I have to spend a fish. And instead of, normally I would have to, because it's an invaded location, I must spend a person and or gold first. But instead, I'm going to actually go to battle. So I get to use an invaded location, spend 1 axe instead of that to gain 2 victory points. So I'm going to spend that axe instead of that to gain 2 victory points. So we went to battle. And that lets me harvest and gain a gold. I'm going to gain the gold so I don't forget. And then we get to harvest. Let me exhaust this. We can always use fish, so I'm going to use the salmon pond. Double up on fish. We're going to use the ice armory. We're going to spend this gold as a stone to gain an axe or a raid token. We're going to sell. Sell! We're going to use the axe to conquer, and we're going to put, we're actually going to use a food to explore. That would have been nice. I guess if we sell next turn. Then we're going to activate Read in the Future, which is spend a food. And I'm going to go ahead and spend a person with the Reindeer Raiders. To be able to do both, it lets me move the clan action pawn and gain a victory point. And with that, I believe we're done. We go to the exploration phase. I am going to conquer the occult grounds, which lets me spend a person to gain gold. Then we go to the cleanup. I get all my duders back. We exhaust everything. We get our pawns back. These go away. We see the new islands. We have the erupting volcano. As an action, I can spend any 2 resources to gain 1 victory point and choose an opponent to lose 1. Fragmented glacier. I can turn people into stone or spin a person to get stone. Jurassic Island. I can move my clan action pawn to an adjacent action tile. Kind of could do that already, but this would be a free way to do it, so that might be interesting. And Sea Serpent Island, I can spend a person to gain a raid token. Might be cheaper than the other way I have to gain it at the moment. And I just realized I forgot when I gained the occult grounds, it gave me a gold. All right, we'll move on to round 3. Draw my cards. All right, first one's a rare. Avalanche Warriors. As an action, I can spend a person to gain a goal or gain a victory point. Building bonuses, I get a victory point for every Yeti building in my empire, which would be 3. Frozen Shipyard, another rare. I can turn fish into victory points, and I gain a victory point for every boat in my empire, which our boat building in my empire, which I don't think I have any actually. Nope. My second green igloo. This one's done with a construct action. Eyeball Fish Merchant. As an action, I can spend 3 different resources to gain 2 victory points. I actually forgot. I keep forgetting things this game. Real bad. This construct was more expensive because it had my action pawn on it. I think I'm going to get rid of the Eyeball Fish Merchant and the Frozen Shipyard. So I'm keeping these 2 cards. It means I got to pay 2 extra workers for it. I guess they'll invade my Reading the Future card. We roll the action. 6, so that means number 3, which is Secure the Den. Additionally, I gain 1 ship or 1 person. So I'm going to take the additional person. We're actually going to do our ice armory. So I spend a gold as a stone. And I'm going to do my Reindeer Raiders, which is spend a person to do and change order and. So I'm going to gain an axe and a victory point. I'm going to go ahead and sell. And I do want the Sea Serpent Island, so I'm going to conquer and put a fish on here. And I forgot the main reason I was actually sailing was because I'm going to boost it, which is going to give me a fish and an axe. Gonna go ahead and activate my nearby fields that hasn't been invaded. Takes a person and a fish. I harvest and gain gold. I gain gold. And I'm going to harvest the green igloo, which will give me 2 food. Use 1 of the food to move my action pawn over to the construct. It is more expensive, so it costs me a stone to do, so I'll use that gold as a stone. So now I'm constructing. I will activate this boost to build the green igloo for free, so I have both. And now I do my construct action, which lets me build the avalanche warriors for free. And as a building bonus, it lets me gain a victory point for every Yeti building in my empire. So 1, 2, 3. So I gain 3 victory points. I'm gonna activate my strawberry vendor, which is a fish. And spend a person because of my reindeer raiders to change ore to and, so that gives me a gold and a stone. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I don't need the stone. It'll just turn a fish into a gold. Use my action pawn to sell. We will conquer. And we'll go ahead and use this gold as a fish. We're going to activate my other nearby fields. Takes a person. Use this as a fish. And we will spend an extra person for the nearby fields because it's been invaded, which allows me to gain a gold and a harvest. And we'll hit one of the green igloos to give me 2 food. We are going to use a food to explore to draw a card. We drew another ice ship, our second ice ship. So we're going to activate reading the future. So it takes a gold because it's invaded. We're going to spend a food. And then we're going to use a person so that we can change ore to and. So we get to move our clan action pawn. We're going to move it to sale and gain a victory point. Then we're going to do our foundations, which is discard a card from our empire. We'll get rid of the reading the future. And hope we hit a building. Which we did, so we get to build sunken ship for free. Or not building, location. Seems pretty good because we're about to conquer 2 places, so we will be getting some wood for that. Guess I should have got rid of this parlaying. It's not really doing anything for me. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that. That was a dumb move. Oh, I'll have one to get rid of next turn. Just sucks because I could have kept that other one just to get to move my action pawn, but eh. Oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of it next turn, so I'll just put it over here. We're going to spend a person to avalanche warriors to gain a victory point. And with that, I have no more actions to do, so we are going to go ahead and move to the exploration phase. We basically get to conquer, we're going to conquer both these.
I've never played this deck.
I have played with this once.
We're going to conquer both of these distant islands and add them to our empire. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. And this time I won't forget to get my building bonuses for conquering them, which are going to be a wood and a fish and 2 gold. All right, we get all of our peoples back. I'm actually going to move this out, and I'm just going to start putting the people in there. Just saves on space. These will flip over. We got the Haunted Island. Each time you conquer, you gain a gold. Which reminds me, I conquered 2 islands, and I have this, the sunken ships, that each time I conquer, I gain a wood. So I actually gained 2 wood. We have the Arabian coast. Spend 1 gold to gain any 2 resources. So these are pretty cool and all, but really this turn kind of sucks because there's only 4 rounds, so it means I'm not going to get to use any of these actions. So I'll be just gaining these for victory points and resources and whatnot. Abandoned Granary. Spend up to 3 people to gain 1 resource from up to 3 different fields. And Beauty Nays. Spend a sheep to retrieve 2 workers. Move to the last round, and just like I've been doing the whole game, forgot to flip this. This doesn't flip back because it had it on there, but populate becomes cheaper for me. Move to our lookout phase. Deck's getting mighty low. We got the Frozen T-Rex. Each time I explore, I gain a food. The Ice Cream Sledge. As a feature, each time you play a boost card, you may spend 1 wood to gain a victory point and or gold. Gift. Yeti Building as an action, spend 1 wood to unexhaust a card or gain a victory point. And the Lone Explorer. Explore to search your deck for 1 igloo, take it into your hand and shuffle the deck. That's our second one. Yeah. All right, I'm going to keep 3. I like this boost, but with my deck being pretty low, and I know I could get it to reshuffle, but I ain't going to take a chance that's not going to happen, so we're just going to keep 3. I have to let them invade one of my actions. I'll put it on the Ice Armory. Nine. So, additionally gain 2 axes. I think we're going to be doing some battles this turn. I'm going to go ahead and do foundations. Choosing to get rid of parlaying. So I do get to play this for free. It was ice walls. I could turn stone into victory points. And as a building bonus, I gain 1 victory point for each igloo in my empire. I have 3. So 3 victory points. Man, too bad. I had 2 more igloos in my hand. Maybe I should have built those first. Use my strawberry vendor. I'm going to spend a fish. I'm just going to spend a fish to get a gold.
Okay. In response, you tap this. I'll sack this. Lose 2 life.
Use an action pawn to harvest. I'm going to choose the salmon pond and get 2 fish. I'm going to do my ice armory. So before that, instead of spending the extra person since it was evaded, instead of spending the extra person and the gold, I'm instead going to use an axe to gain 2 victory points. Tap that to gain an axe. I'm going to use the nearby fields that's been invaded.
No. Yeah, sack a creature.
So before that, I spend an axe, which will gain me 2 victory points. And then I spend a person and a fish.
And
Lets me gain a gold and harvest. So I'll gain a gold. And I'm going to choose my ice quarry, which will give me 2 stone.
in this case, probably just get rid of that guy, because I have to discard. And I'll be on 7. And
I'm going to use stone. Build the Frozen T-Rex.
I'm trying to get lands over here.
I'm going to use stone. Build the Ice Cream Sledge. I'll spend a person to build the gift. I'll spend a fish to build ice ship. I'm going to spend a person and a gold like it's a fish to use my other nearby fields to gain a gold and harvest the salmon pond, which will give me 2 fish.
So, one.
I'm going to use my ice ship, which costs me a person and a fish,
I have.
Okay.
But
to sell and gain a victory point. So I gain a victory point. I get to sell.
plus zombie tokens I control have got touch. And
No, I'll just go ahead and put a fish on there. Go to a distant one, why not? I'm going to use the gift to spend a wood to unexhaust 1 card, which I'll do my ice ship. So yeah, so I definitely wouldn't have done that fish. I don't know why I did that. Sorry, taking that fish back. That was the whole point, the reason I did that. All right, doing the ice ship. I'm going to spend a person and a fish to sell and gain a victory point. So I gain a victory point and sell.
I'm gonna check.
I'm going to go ahead and populate, which will give me a person. Spend a food to explore. And of course, I'd hit one that's a far ways off. Spend a person to get an axe, a raid token. I'm Sea Serpent Island. Okay, everything else I could do just turns things into victory points, which the gold are already victory points, so it's not worth spending. So I think that's the end of the game. Well, do I want to populate? There's really no reason to. I mean, I could do it, just do it. Spend a gold to populate. And then spin the dude to use occult grounds to gain a gold.
block your command with him.
Oh, I did explore. When I explored, I was supposed to gain a food. Man, I've been messing this up a lot in this game. And I believe that's it. There's nothing else left to do. So now we just go ahead, do the last cleanup. Actually, we just kind of skip cleanup. All right. Basically, we just figure out victory points. So I'm just going to scoop all these up because these are all work points at the end. I'm sure I hit my threshold. Let's just see how well I did. And during editing, we'll go back and see if I screwed up. And these are not mine. We'll go back and see if I screwed up to see if I cheated. All right. So I get these cards too. Oh, I need to sell. So I'm just pillaging them because I didn't do anything else. And they both have to be nearbys. So I just get a fish, a stone, a victory point, 2 wood, two wood, and a victory point. And then these go away. All right. So first things first, scoring changes. Each pair of people, a dude and a axe I have in my empire is worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. But it only counts the axes or raid tokens in my thing. So I have those and those, which nets me another 4 victory points. All right, then we go to normal scoring. I get a victory point for every location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I get 25. Put me at 53. So we definitely hit our threshold. So we did win. We had 1 victory point for every 2 resources. 1, 2, 3. So 3 more. And then 1 for every gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is it. So my score was 62. We'll go back and look through the playthrough, see if I messed up anything, which I'm sure I did. I probably hit, well, I had a lot of mess ups, but I think I caught a lot of them. We will see. Other than that, thank you for joining me for this playthrough of Panuk. Have a great day.